The sound of clinking tools filled the small garage that morning, echoing off the metal walls like a heartbeat. The air smelled of oil, sweat, and quiet determination. But beneath that ordinary noise, something extraordinary was about to happen. Something that would change more than just one man's life. Malik wiped the sweat from his forehead. His hands stained black with grease. He had been there since dawn, though his shift wasn't supposed to start for another 2 hours. He was exhausted, but he stayed because he had made himself a promise, that no one who came to his garage would ever be turned away helpless. That promise was born from pain, the kind that never really goes away. His mother used to say, "When life breaks you, fix someone else. It's how you heal." She had passed years ago, but those words still lived in his heart. So when an old, trembling woman pushed open the garage door that morning, her face filled with worry, Malik didn't just see another customer. He saw someone's mother. He saw her. Her name was Mrs. Green. Her car had stopped on her way to the pharmacy. The hood was steaming, her hands shaking as she clutched her purse. "I'm sorry," she said softly. "I don't have much money until my pension comes in next week." Malik smiled, wiping his hands on a rag. "Don't worry about that, ma'am. Let's just see what's going on." He didn't ask for payment. He didn't ask for anything. He simply opened the hood and began to work, tightening a loose belt, patching a leak, and refilling her gas tank with what little fuel he had left in his own can. When he turned the key and the engine came back to life, Mrs. Green gasped. Her eyes glistened. She reached into her bag and tried to hand him her last few crumpled dollars. Malik just shook his head. "Keep it," he said gently. "Just drive safe, okay?" She whispered a quiet, "Thank you," and drove away, tears streaming down her face. What neither of them knew was that someone else had been watching. Mr. Harlan, the owner of the shop. He stood by the office window, his jaw tight, his eyes hard as stone. That afternoon, the garage grew tense. Mr. Harlan stormed out of his office, his boots thudding across the concrete. "Malik!" he barked. The younger mechanics froze where they stood. Malik turned slowly, wiping his hands again, his face calm but weary. "Did you fix that old woman's car this morning?" "Yes, sir." "Did she pay?" Malik hesitated. "No, sir. She couldn't afford." "Then why did you touch it?" Harlan's voice rose like thunder. "You think this place runs on charity? You think kindness pays the rent?" The room fell silent. The air grew heavy. Malik lowered his head. "I just wanted to help." I don't want to hear it." Harlan cut him off, veins bulging in his neck. "You're done here. Pack your things." The words hit like a hammer. Malik blinked, stunned. The tools slipped from his fingers and clattered to the floor. He didn't beg. He didn't argue. He just took off his gloves, set them neatly on the workbench, and walked out of the garage. At that same moment, the bell above the door jingled softly. Mrs. Green had returned, holding a small tin of cookies she had baked to thank him. But her smile vanished when she saw Malik leaving, his face shadowed with quiet pain. Her heart broke in that instant. Days passed, then weeks. Malik searched everywhere for work, knocking on doors, visiting every repair shop in town. But without a reference, no one would hire him. His small savings vanished fast, spent on food and rent for himself and his younger sister, Amira. She was only 16, still in school, still innocent enough to believe that her brother could fix anything, even their broken luck. Every night Malik smiled for her. Every night he lied. "Don't worry," he'd say. "I'm just waiting for the right call." But deep inside he was running out of hope. Meanwhile, Redline Auto Repairs began to feel different. The laughter that once filled the mornings was gone. Customers who used to trust Malik started taking their cars elsewhere. "Where's the young man who used to work here?" they would ask. "He was honest," they said. "He cared." Mr. Harlan ignored it at first, brushing off the complaints. But the silence in the shop began to weigh on him, heavier each day. Then, 3 days later, she came back. Mrs. Green walked into the garage with her cane tapping against the floor. She was dressed neatly, her lavender cardigan buttoned to the top. The mechanics watched as she approached the office door and knocked softly. Mr. Harlan looked up from his desk, surprised. "Can I help you, ma'am?" "Yes," she said, her voice gentle but firm. "I'm here about the young man you fired." He frowned. "Malik." She nodded. Tears filled her eyes as she began to speak. She told him everything. How that day, after Malik fixed her car, she had driven straight to the hospital. Her grandson was dying. She had been desperate to reach him before it was too late. "If that boy hadn't helped me," she said, her voice trembling, "I would have missed my last chance to say goodbye." She paused, clutching her cane tightly. "He didn't just fix my car. He gave me something I can never repay: time. One last moment with someone I loved." Her words cut deep. For the first time in years, Mr. Harlan's expression softened. He remembered his own son, the one he lost in a road accident a decade ago. He had buried his heart in work ever since, believing that kindness was weakness. But now, sitting there, listening to this woman's trembling voice, he felt something stir: guilt and regret. When she left, Harlan just sat there for a long time, staring at the empty doorway. That night, he didn't sleep. He saw Malik's face every time he closed his eyes. He heard his own words. "You're done here." They echoed like a wound reopening. The next morning, Mr. Harlan made a decision. He found Malik's address through one of the apprentices and drove there himself. The neighborhood was small and quiet. Walls cracked, children playing barefoot in the dusty street. When Malik opened the door, surprise flashed across his tired face. "Mr. Harlan?" The older man took off his cap, his voice low. "I came to apologize." Malik just stood there, confused. "I was wrong," Harlan continued. "I was angry, but not at you. I let my pain turn me cold. You reminded me what this place is supposed to stand for." He took a deep breath. "I want you back, Malik. Not just as a mechanic, as assistant workshop manager. You've got what this shop needs most: heart." Malik's throat tightened. His lips trembled, but he managed a small nod. "Thank you, sir." When he returned to Redline, everyone stopped working. For a moment, silence filled the garage. Then applause. Mrs. Green was there too, standing proudly at the door. Her smile was warm, her eyes wet. "Welcome back, young man," she whispered. And for the first time in a long time, Mr. Harlan smiled. Really smiled. The garage didn't just sound alive again. It felt alive. Malik went back to fixing cars, but what he really repaired that day was something far greater. A broken workplace, a broken heart, and a broken belief that kindness didn't belong in business. From that day on, Redline Auto Repairs wasn't just a garage. It became a place of hope. If this story touched your heart or reminded you that kindness still matters in a world that often forgets it, don't forget to like, comment, and share this video. Subscribe to TalesbyNanya, where true stories of compassion and second chances remind us all that a simple act of good can change everything.